Hi folks, you're with Tastus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the very contentious issue of abortion, and particularly in the United States, it's become an article of faith for Marxist activists. But it's a complex issue, and I rarely hear sort of any dissertation on this matter that includes more than one point of view. There are some who are adamant that there should be, under no circumstances, should abortion take place. Others think it's a casual, sort of arbitrary right of any woman, and there are those who take other positions, in varying extremes to one side or the other. So I actually don't have a horse in this race. I see some practicalities and various issues that feed into this, and so I think to be extreme on either end, you may not necessarily be very helpful, even though I see both points of view, or think I do. But here's a few things you consider. So Billy Bob and Billie Jean have a one-night stand. They're 18. They're maybe don't come from well-to-do families. They've had a few beers, and they go to it. Billie Jean's forgotten to take her contraception. Billy Bob brought a condom, but it broke. And anyway, they were pretty hot and went for it. No one's fault, Hey, they dig each other. There's no one's committed any crime here. Happens everywhere, all over the world, and will continue to. So no great shakes at the moment. So Billie Jean gets pregnant. And Billy Bob, he's a responsible sort of guy. He says, "Look, we're both 18, and we want to maybe go to college or something like that, and so." If I pay for it, or pay for part of it, or half of it, or something like that, will you get an abortion? Now, Billie Jean says, "Well, yeah, I mean, this has been. We didn't expect it to happen. We didn't plan for it. We're not married. We're not in a permanent relationship. It was a one-night stand. I actually am not that into you, sort of as a partner or anything. So, if I don't see you again, it kind of doesn't bother me." Billy Bob goes, "All right, then. Well, look." The abortion clinic down on the corner there is, it costs whatever, and he's, I'll pay for all of it, says Billy Bob, and he's got he's maybe got a night job as a waiter or something like that, or a busboy. He's 18. He wants to do college, but he wants to do the right thing. So okay, now. Billie Jean decides, she thinks about it. She takes the money. She thinks about it after and says, "You know what? I'm probably not. I'm not very bright. I'm not going to do very good at college," says Billie Jean. "I'm probably never going to do better than being a runner in a restaurant or something. That's going to be like the apex of my achievement in life. So I've had a look at the benefits I can get, the government benefits, and then, I've had a look at it, and, what I might do is I might actually keep this kid. This could be like kind of a bit of a meal ticket, given my prospects for well-paid employment are about zero." So, but she doesn't. I mean, she doesn't really want to see Billy Bob again. Other guys are on the scene now, and kind of, and so she's going to keep. So anyway, she's. Baby's born, and she goes in to claim the welfare, and she, again, Billie Jean's no genius, so she gets into the welfare and says, "So, well, we're not going to give you any welfare." She goes, "What? I thought you were going to give me this and pay for that, and I was going to get free medical." No. That's not how it works. You have to name the father. You have to name the biological father here, and unless you do that, we're not going to give you a dime, not a nickel, until you name the guy. "Well, what do you want to know him for?" says Billie Jean. "Well, we're going to claim child support from him for 18 years. And if the kid goes to college, we'll claim child support from him for 21 years. And if the kid's got any sort of a handicap, we'll claim child support from him for the rest of his fucking life." whoa, Billie Jean sort of goes, wow, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't think Billy Bob will be happy about that. We don't care whether he's happy or not. The government will force him. We'll take it from his pay. We'll send him to prison. We'll send him in prison until he gets the fuck up and he pays. That's what we're going to do. He won't be able to have a driver's license. He won't be able to have a shit unless he pays this child support. His life won't be worth living. And they say, okay, then, well, gee, all right then. So what, you'll take care of everything? I mean, you'll take him to court, you'll pay all the costs. We have got an army of people, says the lady, says the lesbian lady in the the government agency, the welfare agency. She's, we've got all the people. We've got the guys will go and get him. They'll if he's gone interstate, we'll chase after him. He won't be able to job anywhere in from sea to shining sea. He won't be able to job anywhere, and we'll find him and we'll get that money off him, and we'll throw his ass in damn prison if he doesn't pay. Whoa, okay, wow. Billie Jean's going, well, this is not so bad. He just let me go. It won't cost me a penny. Not a penny. We'll go. All right, then. Well, his name's Billy Bob, and I think he lives down in over here, and I think it's number 99. Well, we'll get him. So anyway, then Billy Bob, he's got his busboy job at the local diner, and he doesn't make much. But next thing you know, he's a decent portion of his, because Billie Jean's not working, nor does she have to. They're going after Billy Bob, so he's got to pay, and he thinks, shit, it's not even worth my while doing this job as a busboy anymore. So, gee, I can't afford to go to college anymore, says Billy Bob. So Billy Bob's life had been destroyed by this arbitrary decision. So now it turns out the kid actually does have a handicap and can be declared. And the bar for a handicap, which keeps child support running for at least 25 years old when the kid becomes 25 years old, or again for the lifetime of the payer. So quite a low bar there to meet. So the kid does have a bit of a handicap. Billie Jean was still partying and drinking and having a good time and dropping a few cones, and that's kind of that kind of affected the kid and the fetus, and this kid in the womb and the fetus and everything. So now Billy Bob's going to have to pay child support for the rest of his life. So now Billy Bob probably wouldn't have gone on to be president of some major corporation or CEO or something, but he may have done all right for himself. He may have become a mechanic or something. He may have done okay. He wasn't a moron, so chances are he would have kind of worked his way through things. But now Billy Bob's life's over. It's finished economically and financially. It's finished because Billie Jean's never going to get a higher paying job. So really, Billy Bob's going to pay all the child support, and the rate for child support is set at a certain amount, and Billy Bob's got to pay it, and it's going to be a large proportion of his income. He's fucked. He is screwed for the rest of his life, and he works that out. He manages to understand that, but he tries. He says, "Well, there's no point in me working with all this, so I'll just quit and I'll go and live at my folks' place and just go on welfare or to clean windows for cash in hand, or I'll do something like that." No chance, because in many states, not every state, but in many states, if you fall behind once they assess for a child support amount, once you fall behind in child support and you don't have a job, it's effectively a crime not to earn money. It's not a crime for anyone else. Anyone else can live on the street again, but not if you're due to pay child support. It becomes a crime in many states. And in some states, they even say that you're not exercising your earning capacity. So they can just say, well, we think you can make more. We think you can get a better paying job. We don't have to prove it. We just have to say it. And if you don't get a better paying job, we'll throw your ass in prison. And on top of that, while you're in prison, you have to effectively pay rent for the time you're in prison, even though we decide to arrest you on arbitrary. So Billy Bob finds a tall building, and what can I say? So now what's been achieved there exactly? Nothing. So while these laws are in place, should any woman be able to just arbitrarily decide to keep the child and then transfer that financial responsibility onto someone else that she only met once. Now there's another argument that says, well, hey buddy, you shouldn't have been into that chick. You shouldn't have liked you shouldn't have gone to that party. You shouldn't have had a beer. You shouldn't have you should have had 100 backup condoms ready there. You should have checked with her and got her to sign a form saying that she had taken contraceptive. And in fact, you didn't do that with a witness means you're fucking responsible. So that now, as you look at this sort of wider picture, okay, sure, keep the baby if that's what you want. If the state and the left is so keen that you can keep it or not keep it at your arbitrary whimsical choice, then that's all right. But then can you transfer that responsibility if you decide to keep financial responsibility onto someone else that you met once? Many would say no, but the law and the government, a lot of it arbitrary, by the way, have decided that she can arbitrarily decide to keep it, the child, and then transfer the financial responsibility again onto someone she met once. Now, had they been in a relationship, they'd agreed to have children, and there was all the planning and the discussion, and everything was agreed. That would be different. But not for these one-night stand type scenarios. So in that situation, some would say abortion is completely warranted, and if assuming that the woman can't look after the child or that the welfare. So either the government has to say, well, look, unless he agreed to run the birth to full term, and has done so clearly in writing, and we can prove, DNA test, we can prove that he is the biological father, then unless that's in place, then the child support thing should be removed. Now, notice the double standard here, though. It's okay for the woman to arbitrarily abort the fetus, but her body, her choice. But then the state, using all its power, will then force a man to be liable to pay child support again, up to the rest of his life. So this is a crazy situation, a double standard. How can it be my body, my choice, but his financial responsibility? Why is it not his money, his choice? But it's only one side of the thing there. So that's an important aspect of where abortion is some may say warranted and justified. Now, whether that should happen at first week or week 10, 15, week 20, that can be debated. But there's I personally believe that it's wrong to assign financial responsibility to someone who never agreed to that outcome in the first place or was unaware of it even. So that's my view there. On the side of there's a lot of young black girls, like 12, 13, that have become pregnant, and a very large number of the abortions, as I understand it, are from these sort of people now, or children that would have been born in the situation to a 12 or 13-year-old girl. Now, there's certainly, I'm not sure anyone would argue, there's a strong case for abortion there. Now, others may say, well, 12-year-old girls should be looking after children. I don't believe so, but let's run with that one just for the moment to see where it goes. So you have a lot of 12-year-old mothers, 13-year-old mothers running around. Their education is going to get screwed up. They're going to require very substantial state subsidies, government subsidies to get by. Maybe there's extensive childcare facilities so that the kid can still attend high school, but there's going to need to be a lot of support, including accommodation and food and a whole range of things. I don't know whether the state should take that on, but that's a big factor. Big factor, I believe, and in such situations, there are again many that would believe abortion is appropriate there in those specific circumstances. And I remember, there's sort of people we've known who've got 14-year-old daughters who are socially very active, and they got pregnant, and it was detected very early on, and was acted on, and decisively so. Maybe there's an argument that those were white girls, by the way. There's an argument there for abortion also. Now, if you then go to the wider issue, and this was in or extend the issue out to where some state governors, I think one of them was in Virginia, where they say that even if the child who is born naturally has gone to full term, so it's gone through the 9 months full term, and that even then it's born healthy and fine. Even then you can abort at that point, even after birth. That's almost beyond the pale. I can't even conceive of a mindset that would condone that. But and I'm sort of still. I mean, my disbelief is still there. When I first heard that, I thought, no, I've heard that wrong. I didn't hear that properly. But no, that was it. And that's beyond unconscionable. It transcends any morality, in my view. So there are some of the arguments about abortion going to and from. There's various religious arguments as well, and I listened to one of the arguments that Justice or Associate Justice, I think it was Sotomayor, who's clearly in the leftist camp in terms of the ideology of what abortion means and represents to leftist activists, and I wasn't impressed with the reasoning that I heard there, but nonetheless. Just now on the matter of specifically the matter of Roe versus Wade. Now this was in, I think, of 73. Now, if you, and the transcripts are available, by the way, and you can even see the original filing of documents. It stuns me to this day, and I've mentioned this in other videos, it stuns me to this day. The documentation and the putting together of the case, the argument that they were putting, the filing with the Supreme Court, it was the work of, in my view, it was the work of it wasn't even a first-year law student. It would have been someone in high school. Very sloppy work, badly put together. No serious court would have accepted that as a basis for hearing the case. It was that bad. And if if an intern or a junior lawyer had come to me and said, well, I've put this together. So, no, you're going back and doing that again. That is crap work. That was my view. So very amateurish is my take on that. Nonetheless, incredibly, the highest court in the United States, at a time when people went into a swoon with the respect they had for the Supreme Court back in the day. I remember we're talking 1973. The court agreed to hear the case on the basis of that piss poor filing. I couldn't believe it. No, I had no idea it was that bad until a few years ago when I looked at it. But they agreed to hear the case, and then it sort of just sailed through. Now, this means it was political. This means it was political that the court wanted to hear the case just so they could pass it. That's the situation at the time. It was a purely political decision to give an ideological outcome to the leftist activists and the rampaging college kids and that sort of stuff. So it was never a decision based on the morality of what they were doing, or even a decision that was needed to be made. Other than, I suppose, you could argue that they wanted a uniform situation across the country, but that's what it was. It was a political decision, not a legal one. It had legal force once made, of course, but the purpose and the motivation behind, even the agreement to hear it, given the piss poor representation. I mean, there was some 20-year-old or whatever was the lead. was the lead counsel on it. I mean, you got to be kidding! It's a bunch of fucking students doing it. So anyway, that was the Roe versus Wade thing. Now, what the Roe, the ones in favour of Roe are arguing is that if the Supreme Court overturns it, suddenly no woman anywhere will be allowed or to ever have an abortion, and it's going to be the end of the world as we know it, and Greta Thunberg, and everything's going to shit, and that's absurd. It's not the case. In the states, like it just means that the authority to decide on laws that should apply to abortion will return to the states rather than be a federal mandate. It returns to the state, and different states will have different laws. For example, California will have, I'm sure, very generous laws in terms of very, very late term abortions, as will, I imagine, New York and the other sort of heavily Democrat states, like I don't know, in cities like Baltimore, those sorts of things. So there'll be other states that Mississippi, for example, or Florida that may not go that far and would have abortion has to be decided in the early term, which is more that I would favour personally. But anyway, so abortion won't go away. It'll just be decided by the state. So this shrill screaming that you get from the leftist activist is all bullshit. It's bullshit. Just because a federal mandate is removed, there's still laws to govern it, but they'll be decided state by state, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And if somebody wants an abortion and they're in a state that doesn't permit it, they've still got the option of going to a state that does do it and having it there and doing so within the law. So that's I look forward to your comments below, but that's my take on it. And you've been with Tassus today, and thank you for listening.